welcome to Storytime with the Roo Bus, a weekly podcast about Bonnaroo. I'm Pondo, and we got others with us.
I'm Daniel. I'm letting Pondo take the reins this week.
And I'm Bruce.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Kara.
Hello, I'm Sergi.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
We got a big group here tonight, but Pondo, I'm going to do something first. Are you ready for this? I'm going to do my Lord Taco impression.
Great. Is it PBR? Is it PBR?
No, it's Coors. It's barely a water.
Silver bullet.
I know. I don't have any PBR in the house. Shame on me. He'll get me. He'll give me a PBR. Pondo, how are you? I'm so happy to have you here. So it's just me from our crew tonight. Sharla is on travel in Kentucky, and Brooklyn is very busy. So I have brought you in to co-host with me. What is up, Mike?
That is awesome. I can't believe they let me out for that. Oh, I mean, I'm so glad to be here. It's great being with everybody, and I have to be back by 9 or they will not let me back in the facility. Anyways, we're all excited here. We're all people that are excited to talk about Roo. We're all together for the obvious purpose because there's a festival coming up in June in Manchester, Tennessee that's called Bonnaroo, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, share stories with you, and I hope everybody's ready. Is everybody ready?
I think so. Let's go around the room. We had everybody introduce themselves a moment ago, but let's see who we have and hear about their story a little bit. Let's start with Bruce and Sarah.
Hey, everybody. So, yeah, I'm Bruce, and we've been...
my dad.
Yeah, Sarah's my kid.
Hi, Dad. Everybody at once. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
It's good to be with y'all. Yeah. So, yeah, me and my dad friends started going to Bonnaroo in 2013, and we missed only 1 year, and we're super excited, and we don't want to jinx anything. We don't want anything to get too rainy or too muddy or anything like that, and we're just fired up to, it seems like 20 years since we were at the last Bonnaroo.
Yeah, I'm a newer Bonnaroovian, but I guess I just heard my dad talk about it for so many years and just have fallen in love with the festival and all the activities that go into planning it and the community behind everything. So, yeah, excited to be here.
So you guys have a little bit of a reverse of the story that I've heard before. Usually somebody, is college age, they go and then they come back and tell their mom and dad, like, oh, you would actually love this. You should go. But it was the other way around for you guys. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I try to go, and our little group here in St. Louis, we try to go to a lot of shows. And in St. Louis, if you're cool to go on a Monday or a Tuesday, you can pretty much see anybody you want. And so we get out a lot. And Sarah used to play and doesn't anymore, but that's cool. And yeah, I just came back and I was all over. I was like, man, we were over here. We saw this band. We went over here. So she was hooked right away.
I like to think I did put my dad onto some good bands, and that's maybe why he wanted to go to Bonnaroo, but
totally.
Yeah.
Bruce, what good bands did she put you on?
Like I would say that's playing at Bonnaroo this year, like War on Drugs for sure. And another one that is going to be one of my picks is 100 Gex. They have a St. Louis connection, and at least one of the 100 Gex, if not both, are from St. Louis. And so they've played around here for a little while. And then maybe a couple months ago, they played here, and the Brotown boys, we all went to check it out. We were like the oldest dudes there, but actually I went with her, and it was awesome, man. And the one thing that was weird though is like the concert was probably 45 minutes long. So we're like, I wonder if they'll ever play any festivals, because they really don't even almost have a full set, So, but I hear they were rocking it at Coachella, and they're playing at a ton of places this year.
I am tempted to go just to see for myself. I'm going to stop by and see a song or two just to witness the anarchy in person. It's insane. I love that you brought up 100 Gex as one of your picks. Right, let's go next to Kara. She's one of our new friends that I met this past week. What's up, girl? What are you here?
Yeah.
What's your story?
Hi. Okay, my story. So I'm Kara, and I have been going to music festivals in some capacity probably for 23 years or so. I live in New York City, and I'm needing a festival real bad. I was supposed to go to Bonnaroo last year, and that obviously did not happen. And now I am planning for this year. So I'm very excited. Doing the semi-solo adventure. And I joined a solo chat group, which some of the folks are here tonight as well. And I'm actually driving down with somebody from the group. So I made a friend. So I'm not going solo this year. But yeah, so that's kind of my story. My first Bonnaroo was 2018. I had done Firefly and some other festivals before that as well, and Day Fest ever since I was a kid. So yeah, so that's a little bit of my story, I guess.
Well, very cool. Since you're with the group, why don't you introduce the rest of your group that's here with us tonight?
Yeah. So we, Courtney, who's also here, started a chat group a couple of years ago, I guess at this point, for those folks who are a little bit older and are doing the solo thing. So I'm going to pass it on to Courtney, and she can kind of introduce herself and her story as well. So.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I've been going to festivals for quite a few years now. I live on the West Coast, and Bonnaroo is a little bit of a further journey for me. I actually almost didn't go in 2019 because I didn't have anyone in my friend group who was interested in, making the flight and camping and doing all that. Being in my early 30s now, my friends were like, "Oh, that sort of sounds like a lot," but I went anyway solo, and I thought it was a pretty life-changing experience. If I had missed out on that, I definitely feel like I'd be a different person than I am now. So that was really my motivation for starting the Bonnaroo solo group that, Kara and Sergi and I are part of now. I think it's a great way for people to connect. And I think going solo in general is just really a cool and unique experience. Like if you have people in the group who want to see the same set as you, that's great. But you also don't have to deal with the stressors of planning with groups, which can be a lot of compromise. So it's a really cool thing. And it's awesome to bring people together.
Sergi, I think you're up next. Tell us where you're from and kind of what your story is.
So I moved to the United States about 6 years ago. From Italy. I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee because of a school. So at the beginning when I was there, I didn't really have that many friends because of the language barrier. It was really hard to make friends. It was my first year in college, and I saw a random sign on the street that says Bonnaroo happening this year. It was 2015. And I knew a small band from there, which was Odessa that year. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. I went on a Radiate and joined this solo group. And I met some people that I consider family now. And next week, I'm going to a wedding for one of them. But unfortunately, because of COVID, none of them are going this year. So I went the solo route again this year. So that's how I ended up in this group chat.
I love that because you never really truly go solo to Bonnaroo. Even if you load up in your car by yourself, you're going to inevitably meet a big group of friends, kind of like you guys have. And you're not really alone because you're going to have a human buffet of people to go to shows with or go to different parties in the campgrounds with. It's kind of amazing how it works out. You never really go alone. You don't meet a stranger. You're going to run into somebody like Pondo who is going to tell you oh, man, you got to go to this show. Pondo, now that we have introduced everybody, I'm going to hand the reins of the show over to you. We can go whatever we want. We can talk about shows we're looking forward to. We can talk about how we are with packing. Take it away, my man.
Okay. Well, first off, let me do the polite thing and introduce myself for those of you who did not watch an episode of America's Most Wanted that I was on. I am Pondo. I do have something called the Pondo Army. And basically what that states is we can all agree to disagree. You might listen to pop music. I might listen to heavy metal or Britney Spears or something like that. But the entire purpose is we don't judge. We agree to disagree. I'll never disrespect your music, and you don't disrespect mine. I do pass out Pondo Army cards on the site ground. So if you see me, come up, and I will give you one. And this year, they're going to be autographed. So you can probably sell them on eBay for about 30 cents, maybe a quarter. I don't know. Get whatever you can. The one thing that I have a question about, I'm from Henderson, Kentucky. We're famous for absolutely nothing. It's about 3.5 hours away from Manchester, Tennessee. The one thing that I'm curious about, and I kind of want everybody's opinion of, with COVID being so prevalent, do you think that is one of the reasons why ticket sales are down this year? Ticket sales for this festival right now are looking to be anywhere from 60 to 70,000 people. And I kind of want to get your opinion. I'll start with Bruce and Sarah, if that's okay.
Sure. So my thoughts on that is I think that there are just so many other festivals going on. And, so there's just more competition. There's something coming up in LA at the end of the summer called This Ain't No Picnic. and it's got a great lineup. So there's like tons of festivals now, and I just think that the competition is a little spicier. And I don't know. I think more people will start buying tickets the closer we get to it, and maybe even the week before, if it looks like the weather's going to be great and all that. I think we'll get some momentum.
Yeah, I think that people might still be burnt out from the past 2 years of not getting to go. Like, I think if you're a real diehard Bonnaroovian, you're like, I'm going no matter what. But I think people that maybe haven't gone or sort of on the fence are like, I'm doing something else,
Okay. Makes sense. How about Kara? What do you think?
I'm sort of on that train. I think part of it has to do with the lineup. I don't think this lineup was like the stellar lineup that people wanted to see after the cancellation last year and, being canceled the previous year. There are definitely other festivals that are more niche and have better lineups. And I think those are the ones that are selling out. That's just kind of what I've been following. I don't care about the lineup. I'm one of those people that'll go just for the fun of it. And
Right.
I mean, I'm also a huge fan of some of the bands there. So that's the other reason, but that's kind of my thought there. But
Hey, Daniel, what's your opinion on it, buddy?
Well, they've kind of covered some of it already, but like a lot of it has to do with, let's be honest, the lineup is a little subpar compared to what it should have been the past 2 years after they got canceled. We had some amazing lineups, some of the best that there had been in many years, but this year, I mean, I'm okay with it. There's a lot of stuff that's going to keep me very busy, but I think realistically it was a bit of a small letdown for a lot of people compared to what it was the past 2 years. And I think that after a lot of people got burned when they drove a long way, spent a lot of money on supplies and stuff, and got a last-minute cancellation, which, let's be honest, there wasn't anything that could have been done realistically about it. Now they have hesitation. Maybe they want to wait till later. Maybe they've got some other plans this year. So I kind of understand why people don't absolutely have their foot to the pedal or whatever the metaphor is this year. I think there will be a good crowd, but honestly, from my personal opinion, from what I'm gathering, I think it'll be slightly above 2016 levels in terms of attendance, which isn't a terrible thing. You don't have to fight the crowd so much, but from a business perspective, it isn't the best. But we got a month and change. We'll see how it turns out.
Sure. Courtney, you're up next. What do you think?
I definitely think you guys covered a lot of it. I think there's a few different factors. One, I think festivals in general just need a year to kind of get on their feet again. You don't have all that hype from the previous year, people having FOMO, like you're kind of in like this weird mix where there's people who are old enough now to go to festivals and maybe haven't been yet and won't be super into it until they go to their first one. You've lost people that have kind of aged out of the festival scene too. So I think it's kind of two parts. And then also the lineup, like a lot of people do go to festivals for the headliners. I'll be there regardless. Like my attitude is I'm happy to be here, but I definitely think that the lack of headliners is a huge driver for the tickets not selling as well.
Okay, Sergio, you're up last, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 really long years since COVID happened. It's been a lot of free time for artists and bands to create new music. They have been releasing a lot of new music, releasing a lot of new albums, announcing a lot of tours. So it's very competitive out there. So yeah, with the lineup being a little bit of a letdown this year, I feel like it was very competitive with other festivals. A lot of people decided to go to other festivals, especially because there is so many like tours going on that people can't really afford to go to Bonnaroo. It's a little bit of a hard drive to get there, it's a little bit of a hike. So I feel like people are not like waiting until last minute to see what's going on, if they announce something else. But I mean, to be honest, like as Daniel said, I'm not really mad about a smaller crowd. Like I feel like it's gonna be very intimate this year, which I'm kind of excited for.
Okay, sounds good. Everybody talks this year about the lineup. I've heard a lot of people say about it. So my question is this: what's the one act that we shouldn't miss that might go under the radar? Who's the one act that's on your list that you're going to tell people, hey, this is who you need to see? Bruce and Sarah, you guys are up first. I have a funny feeling what you're going to be telling me.
Well, I do like the 100 gex as a good option for anybody who's not seen a 100 gex show. It's a lot of energy. But what I'm really, because I've been to Bonnaroo, 6 or 7 times, and I haven't caught a full super jam yet. And I think this super jam is going to really rock it out. It sounds like it's going to be like I'm over 50, but it's going to be like something. What is it, like the 1984 super jam? So it should be interesting to see what kind of music they pick and how that whole thing's curated and what they end up doing. So I'm really fired up for the super jam.
I am too. I would also pick, I was just going to say one of the smaller acts that I think is going to be really good is Isaiah Rashad. He's one of my favorites. He just put out a new album. It was really good. And I'm kind of surprised he's not higher up on the list.
All right, Kara, you're up.
Okay, so I would say they're not underrated, at least right now. I am a huge Goose fan. I am literally following them across the country several times. I'm going to several shows this year. So I'm just throwing their name out because I love them. But I think the other band that I'm really, really excited to see is Lord Huron. I haven't seen them live in
they're good.
5-6 years, and they're fantastic. And their music in the last 5 to 6 years has come out, and it's been amazing. So very excited to see Lord Huron.
Okay, Daniel, all the way from NASA. Tell me who I should be going to see, man. No, that's under the radar.
Well, I'm going to go through 3 real quick. Well, this isn't under the radar anymore. They're a big band now, but King Gizzard is my number 1.
Yeah, okay.
It's Goth Babe on Thursday. I have fallen in love with this band. I saw them at Okeechobee. I'm even deeper in love now. Love everything that they're doing with Goth Babe. If I had any talent for making music, that's kind of what it would probably sound like. The third one that I haven't talked about before that I'm going to recommend is also on Thursday, I believe. It's Blue to Tiger. This was a big surprise for me. I saw her while I was waiting all day to get on the rail for Tame Impala at Okeechobee, and she blew me away. I didn't know anything about her. When she came out, I thought it was going to be like a pop singer type thing. Probably the best live bass player I have seen in recent memory. And girl's got pipes too. So if you haven't listened to her music, check it out. And I think she's going to be somebody that a lot of people are talking about on Thursday.
Yeah, I was going to jump in there. She actually played with Bleachers on SNL. So we might see her on the Super Jam, or she may even play with Bleachers. So that would be really fun to see. Just saying.
I watched that episode. I missed that. That's cool. So
yeah.
Another reason for me to go to that 84 thing. Yeah.
All right, Courtney, you're up. Who's somebody under the radar I need to see?
Well, they're not super under the radar because Kara already mentioned them, but Lord Huron, I feel like they do kind of go unrecognized sometimes, like so fantastic, so much talent. I was able to see them recently at Outside Lands, and their production right now for their current album is just fantastic. So I think it'll fit the farm vibes perfectly. And not really under the radar either, but the Super Jam, I mean, Jack Antonoff is so talented and works with so many artists. I feel like that's going to be something special, and we're going to see a lot of surprises.
Fair enough. Sergi, you're last, man. Who's somebody I need to see that's under the radar?
I have 2 people that I really want to see that I discovered through the lineup, and it's Bristol Maroney and Tierra Whack. I really like their vibe. I got the chance to see Tierra Whack here in Miami, and she just has so much energy. She blew out the arena. So I'm really excited for those 2.
Sweet. I'll do mine. And I'm actually going to go a little under the radar. First one I'm going to go is actually somebody that's not even playing Bonnaroo itself, but is playing the plazas. There is a band on Thursday called The Main Squeeze. If you have not seen them, jump at the chance. These guys have been playing for years. They have a massive YouTube following. Every time they play Red Rocks, it sells out. They are amazing live. Maximilian on guitar is like a godsend. And my other one under the radar is playing the Who stage. Her name is Charlotte Sands. And if you have not seen the blue-haired goddess herself, you definitely need to check her out. Not only is she easy on the eyes, she's also great on the ears. Really good pop singer who I think if she gets the right backing could really blow up really, really big. And I love the Lord Huron references. I've played Bonnaroo before, and they are amazing. I agree.
I love them as well. Hey, Pondo, I'm going to jump in real quick. We're going to cut to an edited thing where Sharla and I are going to thank our Patreons. We'll jump to that, and we'll be right back with this crew. Hey, everybody. We'll be back with Pondo and the crew in just a moment. But I have got Sharla on the line. Where are you at tonight?
Hi, everyone. I am sitting in a hotel in Louisville, Kentucky.
So me and you have spent some time in Louisville. How do you like it this time?
I actually love Louisville. I had a really strange experience earlier tonight, but it's all good. It's all good.
Why don't you tell everybody what happened? I think it's worth sharing.
So it's kind of funny, actually, but I was walking next door to the convention center, and I was wearing a crossbody purse, and someone drove past me on a bicycle and tried to snatch it off of me.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, it's crazy. But fortunately, it was a crossbody purse, so they didn't get very far with that.
Yeah, I have been in Louisville 2 or 3 times with you now, and I never thought it was like that around there. So, yeah.
You know, what's wild is I've been all over the world, and I've never had anything like that happen ever. So
back alleys of Bangkok, no problem. One of the main drags of Louisville, Kentucky, you better watch out. So I understand you're going to see Joe while you're there as well?
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing our good buddy Joe. She's going to ride with us in the bus this year, and we're hopefully going to link up this week while I'm in town.
That's awesome. So, Sharla, I wanted to get you on for a minute so me and you could thank our Patreons. Actually, I gave them some cool news today. I think they're going to get a piece of the schedule that we're working on before the whole Bonnaroo schedule is out. Some cool news for them. I think everybody should be getting that before too long. But do you want to read off the list of names for us?
I would be honored. And again, you know, I say this every week, but apologies if I mispronounce your name. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names. Just come up to me at Bonnaroo and just punch me, please, because I'm bound to get some of these wrong. Y'all know I have a really big Southern accent, so just please forgive me. So I'm going to try my best. I know that Nick did tell me how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
And I'm still probably going to mispronounce it. And I'm so sorry, because I grew up with people just butchering my name my entire life, my first and my last name.
Shayla?
And my last name too. So it was pretty bad. So anyway, so I do apologize. So ready to get started, Daniel?
Go for it.
All right. So we have a new one this week. We've got Preston, a.k.a. Presto.
We're going to have to ask him why he is a.k.a. Presto.
Nick Wigalia, Maddie McCracken, Kara Yates, Sean McCain, McFerg, Bruce Butler, Andrew Julian, William Hoper, John Howard, Captain Dan, Lucy Young, Benjamin Wells, Ross McNamara, Kent Summers, Michael Roberts, Randy C., Joshua Winsel, Madison Hudsiko, Scott Hurst, Greg B., Eric and Ben Abel, Kristen Straub, Natalie Gaucher, Beyond the Hypnotic, that's Jace, Evan Brown, Jay Sanders, Chloe Hannon, and Sean McCarthy.
Yeah, thanks, Charlotte. And we are working on a little something extra that we're going to have for our Patreons at the bus, I think, before Flip Turn plays. And Charlotte, I think this is news to you as well. I was able to talk with some of the Flip Turn camp, and next week or so, we are going to have them on the podcast to talk about how their tour is going.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
They just played Shaky Knees. We had some friends that saw them there and had nothing but good things to say about them. I think it will be, if not next week, the week after, we're going to have them on to see how their tour is going, maybe get some hints about what they're going to play at the Wednesday night show at the bus, all kind of good stuff coming up. We also have some information coming soon about exactly what will be on the Bonnaroo schedule when it finally comes out. We know what ours is going to be, but I'm sworn to at least a little bit of secrecy on that. So we will have that for everyone very, very soon, I hope. I'm really hoping the schedule is going to be out this week.
I mean, maybe.
We'll see. It was with 3 or 4 weeks to go last year, I believe, if I recall correctly. So it's got to be coming soon. Yeah,
you and Pondo may have already discussed this. When do you think we'll start getting our ticket packages?
We did talk about that a little bit. I told him I wasn't so worried about like when, but what. I wonder what is in that package.
Yeah.
But realistically, I think it's probably going to be here in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
You think we'll get a poncho?
Somebody joked about that.
Somebody said that on Twitter.
What do you realistically hope is in the package?
What do I hope or what do I think? Because those are two different things.
Why not both?
I hope, and I've said this before, I really, really hope that it is something useful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I said it before, I think my personal favorite was the fanny pack because it's something useful and I still use it today. I think it'll be the refill of the cup like we got last year.
That would make sense. I still have mine. I'm looking forward to using that. I put both my 2020 and 2021 wristbands in my cup, and I've kind of like sworn to myself that I'm not going to use any of it until we actually get back. I'm going to put both my 20 and 21 wristbands on like as soon as we get there and like wear them the whole time. Be like, yeah, I've been waiting this long.
Yep. I had a weekly pick.
Oh, yes, please go for it.
So I do have a weekly pick, a band that I've been really into this week. I had never heard of this band, but they were on a show or a movie that I watched recently. They're called Shane Smith and the Saints. They are an Americana band from Austin, Texas. The lead singer has a voice kind of like, he kind of sounds like, this is going to be weird, but he kind of sounds like Pearl Jam a little bit. So it's kind of like if you mixed like a Pearl Jam kind of voice, but more with like an Americana sound. But they are really, really, really good. I mean, I'm really, really into this band. I downloaded a lot of their songs for my road trip today, and I'm really, really into them. I think they were on that show Yellowstone. I don't watch that show at all, so they must have been on another show that I heard their music in, because that's how I discovered them, and I just started listening to them this week, and they're really, really good. So definitely check them out if you like Americana music. Shane Smith and the Saints.
Okay, awesome. That is a new one on me, so I will check that out.
Definitely. So we're going to be talking with the winner of our contest soon.
Yeah, I think by the time people listen to this, they should know who the winner is. We'll contact them and let them know what they need to know about getting those Bonnaroo tickets. But I also hope to have them on the show in the next week or so and thank them for their story and hear more about it as well.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah, so we will hear more about that soon. But for now, why don't we jump back to Pondo and crew?
Yes.
All right, thanks, future Daniel and Sharla, for that. We're back to our big group here, and I'm going to throw it back to the man with the horns himself, Pondo.
Thank you. And we're once again talking about Bonnaroo and how wonderful it is and how great it is. And somebody has a shiny disco ball behind them. If you can see it right now, Kara, check it out.
Yeah.
And years ago, there wasn't a disco ball. There was a cuckoo clock. And I think Daniel might know a little something about a cuckoo clock if we want to hear it.
Yeah, I missed that thing. Me and Sharla first started going to Bonnaroo, back in 2013 when Paul McCartney came in. We had no other reason to not go. And that cuckoo clock was there for that year and a couple of years afterwards. And that thing was so trippy. Apparently, when the bird would come out of the clock, weird things would happen. Some guy told me that he was camped near it one year, and the bird came out, and all of a sudden it started talking about like weird animal facts, like it was some Discovery Channel documentary or whatever. And everybody was like, wait, what? Did that really just happen? Because it was like 7 a.m, and an ungodly hour for Bonnaroo. And like everybody was like, wait, what? Really? And I remember going by that thing like late at night on the way back to my campground at like 4 a.m. And it just having like the weirdest, trippiest music and like designs on the side of it. I missed that damn thing. I know you do too, don't you, Pondo?
Yes, I camped in pod 4, which is literally right beside the cuckoo clock. So there's nothing like hearing the Fat Albert theme. Nah, gonna have a good time. Hey, at 5 a.m. And at that point, you're wanting to kill anybody that's associated with the cuckoo clock or ever thought about making it. And then when they put the disco ball up, it was kind of cool, but you're like, where's the clock? No clock. Let's get back to what's going on this year in 2022. So I think everybody kind of agrees that this lineup's a little bit interesting. So here's my question. Besides the headliner, which show do you think is going to have the largest crowd? Now, let's don't count Super Jam because Super Jam's automatically big every year. For some reason, they put it in a tent. I have no idea. It needs to be on which, or my personal thing is it needs to be on what. But we will start with Kara. Kara, who do you think is going to have the largest crowd besides the headliner?
I'm so bad at like remembering the lineup. I guess Flume is like a sub headliner, right? Does that count? I guess Flume, I think Flume is going to have a gigantic crowd. That's on my list, I think, for that. I'm just trying to think of anybody else, but I'm gonna say Flume. Sorry.
Sounds like the only three that I'm holding out are basically Tool, J. Cole, and Stevie Nicks. Outside of those, who do you think is going to have the largest crowd? We'll go with Bruce and Sarah next. Who do you guys think is going to have the largest crowd at Bonnaroo?
I think Flume's a good answer. I think, kind of piggybacking off of that, I think Disclosure will be pretty poppin'.
Yeah, and you said not including Stevie Nicks and Tool and
J. Cole.
and those guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
J. Cole, Stevie Nicks, and Tool. Besides those three, who do you think is going to have the largest crowd?
I'm going to go with War on Drugs, man. I think they're just a cool band, and I've seen them before. I've maybe even at Bonnaroo. I'm not sure if they've been there recently or not, but they're awesome, and I think they'll have a pretty good following.
Okay. Daniel, who do you think is going to have the largest crowd outside of the three main headliners?
2 words: Loop Daddy.
I'll be there for sure.
That show is going to be absolute anarchy. I think some of the other people have some good answers. I'm really looking forward to that Disclosure show. But Loop Daddy has exploded in popularity the past 2 years. It started like during lockdown while he was on YouTube and stuff. He keeps getting bigger and bigger. He had like a giant Lollapalooza set in Chicago last year. People have been dying to get to that show, and now that he's finally playing it's going to be anarchy at that show. I hope they give him a big stage. They can't put him in a tent because it's going to be massive.
Quick follow-up. Are you going to wear a robe to that show?
Hell yeah.
Fair enough. Courtney, who do you think is going to have a massive crowd at their set?
Ooh, you guys named all of my top guesses. But, I think the Mount Joy crowd's going to be surprising just because I think they fit the Roo vibe so well. I think they're a little underbilled. So they're on my list to watch out for.
Fair enough. Sergi, who do you think is going to have the huge crowd at Bonnaroo?
So that's a really all-time low is gonna have a big crowd. It brings a lot of memories. It brings a lot of all people that are like used to like that Nickelodeon shows kind of thing. And also Taz Sultana. She has been growing and just keep going up. I feel I saw her at Okeechobee a couple of years ago and her crowd was amazing. The last time she was at Bonnaroo, her crowd was amazing. So I really hope they put her in a better stage, in a better time. With no conflicts because she is going to have a really good time.
I agree. I'm going to go a little bit country. I think the Chicks are going to have one of those sets. I think they're going to be right before a headliner. And I think they are going to have, probably on Which, I think they are going to have a massive crowd there. One of the biggest crowds that I've ever seen at Bonnaroo was actually during the day. Cake played on the Witch one year when it was blazing hot and you literally could not see the end. So personally, I'm not crazy about the Witch, but we will get to my next question. What is your favorite tent or stage at Bonnaroo? And it could be one from the past. Maybe they don't even have anymore. We'll start with you, Kara. What's your favorite tent or stage?
Oh, man. So I don't think I was there for the last year, but Calliope was so much fun. I guess 2019 was the last year for Calliope. So I was there in 2018, and that was my only Roo, and I spent half the time there. Rest in peace.
Good choice. Bruce and Sarah, do you guys have a favorite tent or stage or plaza? If there's a plaza that you just thought just was the bee's knees, that'll work too.
I actually kind of like the Witch stage because you can get right up in front with. I think VIP has an access right on the right side. You can get up and get in the pit pretty easily. But I miss the comedy tent, and I miss the giant meatball from the Adult Swim thing that was. They were like playing movies in there, and you just go and lay down on the ground. It was like Cinerama all around you. It was really cool, and I saw a picture of it on like some social media this week.
Yeah, you never go wrong with something called meat wad. Okay, Sarah, what is yours?
I'm gonna have to say it's a tie between the Grove and the House of Yes for me. The Grove was like a huge part of my experience, my first time. So that's my answer.
I plan on seeing House of Yes. I've never done it. I'm planning on doing it this year. I don't care how long it takes me. Daniel, you're up next, man. What's your hit me with your stage, man.
Well, as far as Plaza stuff, I'm going to give a +1 to the House of Yes. Sharla and I have talked about this. One reason I love Bonnaroo so much is because it's so inclusive of everyone, and that is probably the heartbeat of inclusiveness at Bonnaroo. If you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. At the very least, come by for the Pride Parade and some of the parties that they have around that. But in Cinderoo, I don't know, man. It's tough to say. I love the late night energy at Witch. It kind of gets crazy there after 1 a.m. And also, I love going to like a good afternoon set at that tent. I don't know why. I think I have a core memory installed in my head of going to see Fiddlar in 2016 and it just turning into like a tent-wide mosh pit. So I have good memories of that. I feel like the roof keeps the vibes in somewhat.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Courtney, you're up next. Favorite stage, plaza, tent?
I really like going to the other stage after the headliner and getting my second wind. Like you can just go dance and pump up for the second half of the night.
Cool. All right, Serge,
I'm gonna go with a newer one. We're in the Woods. I really enjoyed the last year. The bites in there were amazing. The little art in there, the visuals. It was a very good crowd. It was a very good place. I know the sound was a little bit of an issue for some of the volunteer tents, but I really liked the sound and everything in there. It was just a great spot to be in.
Cool. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to go a little old school. The Miller Lite stage, I actually loved. I saw so many bands with my group, Roots of Rebellion. Shout out to those guys. They're no longer together. But a lot of them are doing solo projects, and I wish them nothing but the best. And I got to see Monster Truck on the rail, and that was pretty amazing. And another one that a lot of people didn't know about was something called Cafe Ware. It was actually years ago back at the very back of the What stage. They had a little tent, and the way it would work was while the main guys on the stage were getting warmed up and stuff like that, a small band would play. I got to see Ben Solee there. I got to see King there, and it was just really cool because they actually come out and they talk to the crowd, and they were very good. But my favorite show from there was a group called Skinny Lister. They are from England. If you ever get a chance, definitely check those guys out. They definitely know how to entertain a crowd. Okay, so I'm going to put everybody on the spot. This is the one that everybody is going to have one favorite. That one show. The one show that if I ask you, okay, this is the show that's going to keep me coming back to Bonnaroo year after year after year after year, that one show, whenever you say, hey, if you were there, you saw it, you witnessed it, the electricity was in the air, and we're going to start with Kara. Kara, the one show that will keep you coming back to Bonnaroo.
For me, it was Bon Iver, the 2 sets in 2018. It was magical. I have no other words for it. It was beyond this world. It was amazing.
Yeah, I only got to see one of those sets, but yes, I totally understand. It's one of those things where you literally you feel it. You feel it.
Yeah, we left Eminem to go back. We're like, nope, we're good. We went back. I was like, I have to go back. It was just amazing. It was so good.
Awesome. Bruce and Sarah, you guys are up next. Who's the one set that when you are talking about, this is the set that keeps me coming back?
That's an easy one for me. LCD sound system was unbelievable. I got right up front, and that show just was freaking hot the whole time. And just I waited in the pit for the whole thing, before the whole thing. Finally, they came out. It was just great. LCD. And now, I was a fan pretty much before that. And any chance I get to go see him now, I'm hooked. And that's because Bonnaroo for sure.
I almost forgot about it, but I'm not a huge EDM person, but I sort of just wandered into Zoo in 2019, and that set absolutely changed me forever. And now I'm a big EDM fan, kind of.
Awesome. It's amazing what those sets can do. And LCD, when they played Us versus Them over and over again, it was just it started off and it just launched it. And it's one of those things that I got goosebumps just talking about it. Okay, Daniel, I already know you got one, and yours probably going to be mine. Ours is probably going to match, but I'm waiting for it, man. What's the one set that keeps bringing you back?
Well, I feel like you're reading my mind a little bit, but I want to hit on what Bruce was talking about. That Friday night of 2016 was the most fun I have ever had in my life. That may have been the best night of my life because there was that amazing LCD sound system show. Before that, there was M83 on the Witch. And then after that, there was Tame Impala, and the party kept going all night. I never had as much fun in my life. It was insane. But, I mean, this whole conversation begins and ends with Paul McCartney in 2013. I don't know how anything even potentially compares. You just can't even if you weren't there, you can't even fathom 100,000 people singing "Hey Jude" or like losing their mind when the pyro went off to "Live and Let Die." Like that was my first Bonnaroo. Nothing has topped that show since. You can't even talk about anything else in the same breath.
Okay, Courtney, hit me with it. What's the one set that's going to keep you coming back?
For me, it was the Lumineers in 2019. They poured so much emotion into that set, and for me, that was like my pinnacle Roo moment. The sun was setting. They were so connected with the crowd. They touched on some pretty deep topics. I was bawling. Strangers next to me were bawling. We all held hands at one point for one of the songs. Like, to me, that was just Roo culture at its peak.
Fair enough. Sergi, hit me with it, man. What's the one act or one set that's going to keep you coming back?
So the first band that made me go to Bonner was Odessa in 2015. I saw them in a small set, and then it was a whole circle to go around in 2019. I see them in the wild stage. It was just such a good experience to see such a small artist become she's a big thing now. And now like they're selling arenas and like they're selling out in like few hours. So it was really amazing to see that, and I really hope they get back at some point to the farm.
Sweet. I have an honorable mention. My honorable mention is actually a set that most people probably never saw, but there was one of the first years that I went. It might have been the third or fourth year that I went. So I'm going to say maybe 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere. There was an act named Clooney. And what they were was they wore George Clooney masks. And they come out and they rapped. And this was the most crazy thing that me and my buddy Dave had ever seen. To describe it was impossible. During the middle of their set, they had a guy dressed up as Jimi Hendrix come out and play the national anthem. And then they come out dressed up as Clooney's best friend, Brad Pitt. And it was just one of those things that, man, I knew I'd never seen nothing like that. But number one, got to be 2013. Has to be Sir Paul McCartney. I'm sitting there listening to Hey Jude. I'm like Daniel. I'm sitting there listening to Hey Jude, and I'm trying desperately to call my mom. And Let It Be was one of her favorite songs. I could not get signal. So I decided I'm going to tape it with my camera. I got my camera and I'm taping it, and tears are just streaming down my face. One of my best friends for over 25 years is sitting to the right of me. I am not going to turn because he is not going to see me crying. He is not going to see me crying. And then I look over, and I think I saw tears in his eyes. So I was thinking, okay, we are good. That was such an amazing – and Live and Let Die, Daniel, I thought something happened when the thing started blowing up. I was like, oh, my gosh, we're under attack. They're attacking Paul.
Dude.
But I definitely think that, that was so crazy.
We were like relatively close. Like we were like a couple of rows behind the bar that separates like the regular crowd from the pit. And I kind of knew that something was going to happen because like the year before that, he played the Olympics in London and there was fireworks and pyro for that. But I wasn't expecting the heat to hit me like a wall when it went off, when that song like kind of hits the good parts,
Definitely. Okay. So a lot of people know there's amazing food vendors at Bonnaroo. Everyone has a personal favorite. Everybody has that one item that when they go to Bonnaroo, they look for, whether it be 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning, whether it be sober or otherwise. What is the one food fair that you look forward to at Bonnaroo? And in case people did not know, what was formerly the Amish Donut Company is not going to be there this year, which is kind of a shame. That's been making the rounds on media. They are not doing that this year, so I'm a little upset on that. But we'll start with you, Kara. What's the one food vendor or food thing that you look forward to on the farm?
So I will be totally honest. I have only been to Bonnaroo one time, and that was in 2018, and we were in an RV. So we actually cooked all of our food and we're really responsible with money. But I did have Peachy's, the Amish donuts, and I'm very sad they won't be there. So
Yeah,
I was looking forward to that.
That is such. I tell everybody, it looking at it puts you in a diabetic coma, literally, and that's one of the things I definitely wanted to see this year. But they're not going to be there, so
yeah,
so that's that.
They will be at the New York State Fair, at least from what I've seen on social media. So if you live in New York, I live in New York, so that's my reason I know. Go there.
Cool. Bruce and Sarah, hit me up with some food items because you can obviously tell I've missed a few meals.
So I'm also going to cheat on this because I've only been once, and I also have a lot of food allergies that prevent me from being able to enjoy things like spicy pie and Amish donuts. It's really sad, but I will say a must-have for me at any festival is something called sports beans, and they're just like little jelly beans. I think Jelly Bean like makes them, but they have like electrolytes and vitamin B12 and a little bit of caffeine. So those I keep on deck, and that, helps keep me fueled.
So I would say definitely spicy pie, with a close second is the arepa cart.
I was going to say that.
And then a close third would be Hamageddon. And I don't know if Hamageddon's penciled to be back this year or not, but it's like this. If you've been to Bonnaroo, maybe you know what it is, but if you haven't, it's like this giant sculpture iron pig thing that they barbecue a pig in there, and it's great. BBQ.
Can't go wrong with anything. Bacon. Come on, it's bacon. Bacon's great. Daniel, come on, hit me up with something that I can eat.
Well, first of all, I have to give a shout out to Chloe, who I know is probably like mentally screaming at her speakers.
I was thinking too.
Yeah. I've mentioned this before, and I hope they're back, and I wish I could shout out who it was that had it. I can't remember, but last time we were there, I had the most amazing shrimp and grits I've ever had. It was a vendor stall that was near that tent on stage. Hang on, I got to put myself mentally there. On stage left of that tent. So I'm going to go make a beeline for that place and see if the same shrimp and grits people are there. Also, I got to give a shout out to Bonnaroo for like doing really well on like picking good food, but also like having everyone be mindful in their pricing. I mean, it's a festival, so it's going to be a little bit more than you would expect. But after going to Okeechobee and seeing how high their concessions were, oh my God, I'm so thankful that Bonnaroo keeps them in check there.
Fair enough. Courtney, okay, I'm hungry. I'm going to go to Bonnaroo and I want to eat. So what am I eating?
My number one was Ozark Mountain Biscuit Company. My understanding is that they are regular, so I really hope they're back this year, but they've got different variations of biscuits and gravy, and man, we don't eat like that on the West Coast. It's pretty incredible, especially like late at night. Honorable mention to Pedialyte packets, because the well water on the farm is a little funky, so if you fill up your bottle and throw in some powdered Pedialyte, it tastes just fine. So stay hydrated.
Sergi, what's one thing I'm going to eat at Bonnaroo this year?
I gotta agree with Bruce. The arepas are everything. There is nothing that like you being tired after a couple sets and just go get an arepa. A greasy arepa is the best feeling in the world. Especially with the lemonade right next to it. It's just so great. There was actually a stand in front of the house, yes, in the pot too. It was like a smoothie place. The smoothies there were amazing. I don't remember the name, but if you are in front of the house, yes, make sure to like try a smoothie.
I have two. I have one that's definite winner, and it's winner every year. But my honorable mention is the Ozark Biscuit Company, which have been there probably about 4 or 5 years, and those guys are good. Their gravy's amazing. But number one by far has to be Roadie Rolls. Got to give a shout out to my guys. I've actually been on the truck and made a Roadie Roll. Those guys do farm to table. They're located in Charlotte as well as Atlanta. They're in the food truck oasis, have the big green truck. Tell them Pondo sent you, and they'll probably be jumping up and down and super excited. Corey and the gang are just really great people, and they have something called a Thurman Merman, and it's amazing. And I tell everybody, try it at least once. Okay, so it's time for the nearly world famous weekly picks. Let's see what do you want to recommend that I do this week, not Bonnaroo related? Give me something to do while I'm waiting for this festival to come in June. Kara, one thing that I should be doing, or that you want to shout out, anything. It could be a song, a video game, a TV show, a commercial, something you want to cook me later on.
I came into this with Bonnaroo things in my head, but I'm going to have to say I have been on a Netflix kick, and I've been watching The Worst Roommate. It's something like it's kind of like a true crime type documentary, but it's called like The Worst Roommate Ever. It's hysterical and awesome to watch. So that's my recommendation.
Cool. I figured I would be the worst roommate. Well, I'm institutionalized, but never mind. We're going to talk about that in public. Bruce and Sarah. Okay, here's your chance to tell me something to do, watch, wear, try. You guys are up.
So the low-hanging fruits, obviously, like Ozark or Better Call Saul on the TV. But a band that was going to be playing, I think, at last year's, it got canceled, that is touring with Parquet Courts. They're Modu Mokhtar, and they opened for Parquet Courts here in St. Louis, and it was like insane. They're from the Sudan, and they are 1 minute you're kind of listening, it sounds like ZZ Top. The next time it's like you're at some sort of Bedouin wedding somewhere. They're unbelievable. They hardly speak any English, and they just come out and just crush.
Me and Daniel are like jumping. I'm jumping up, down, inside. Daniel just did 2 black flips. He's like, heck yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was the biggest bummer for me last year when the last minute cancellation came along. I was so looking forward to seeing their show. And they played in Birmingham, Alabama a few months ago, right when I was in Florida for Okeechobee. I'm still dying to see them. I'm looking up their tour calendar right now, actually.
Yeah, yeah, they're cool.
All right, Sarah, give me something to do or watch or wear or jump up and down or something.
Okay, mine's kind of a basic thing, but I think it is really, really influential. And mine's going to be get in the hammock. I think the weather is starting to be nice, and it is just like the best, most relaxing feeling of floating. And I also think that for me, it is a must-have for Bonnaroo also. So it's really nice to relax and just feel serene and, good internal warm-up for Bonnaroo, I guess.
Definitely.
The hammock.
My size, hammocks don't make sense because gravity and I will fall on the ground. So you're going to take my spot for that one. Tell me how great it is, and I'll just agree with Daniel. Oh man, I'm scared what this one's going to be. Daniel, what are you recommending to me this week, man?
I'm going to cheat and do 2 real quick. So Sharla and I had been watching Russian Doll on Netflix. It's one of our favorite shows. Natasha Lyonne, a lot of people recognize her from Orange is the New Black. She's the lead of this. They just did season 2. Season 1 was amazing. Without giving any spoilers, it was basically Lady Groundhog Day. Season 2 is very different. We finished it. I think we mentioned it before. It's a little different. I'd like season 1 a little bit better, but it's still really cool. It's kind of got a different story to tell. Other recommendation. I am praying that there will not be a big conflict, but I am dying to see Lane 8 at late night at Bonnaroo. There's going to be a couple of other things going on that night, but I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to duck out and go see Lane 8 for a little bit. It's kind of like the low-key, like melodic EDM that I really like, that I'm very amateurishly trying to play a little bit nowadays. Check them out. I think you'll like them.
Cool. All right, Courtney, what's one thing I need to do, watch, wear, try, eat, swim? I don't know how I'm going to swim something, but go ahead, hit me.
Well, I love a good trashy TV show. So I have been watching The Ultimatum on Netflix, and I highly recommend it. Basically, it's people that have been together for a while. One person wants to get married, the other person doesn't. So they gave them this ultimatum. You can date somebody else for 6 weeks and then come back and decide if you want to marry me or them. Totally chaotic, totally trashy, but it's very fun.
Yes, and I can see the Jerry Springer crowd has matured now, definitely. I've actually watched that show a few times myself, and I actually like it. Okay, Sergi, what am I doing, wearing? What am I going through? What am I got going on, man?
I'm gonna say two of them. So the first one is Lisa's new song. Her new album is coming up. Her new song about that time is really good. It's the summer song. I'm still throwing a fist about her not being the first female headliner of Bonnaroo. But I know stuff happened last year. And the second one is gonna be the Pride Parade at Bonnaroo. Make sure you check it out. The House of Jeps does really work on that. It does really make a lot of effort on it. If you know the House of Yes, they do a lot of uh, queer stuff in New York, and it's just a great club to go to. So the fact that they are Bonnaroo, and I think this is gonna be their second year or third year, I believe. It's just a great place to be at. It feels very inclusive. I mean, Bonnaroo is very inclusive, but being a House of Yes, it just feels like out of this world.
Awesome. Mine is going to be something pretty simple. And my thing is be nice to everybody. Right now, the world's in a really, really bad place. We have situations with Ukraine and Russia. I mean, we have situations where we have two political parties that are fighting constantly and just horrible, and my thing is this. We might not be able to change everything, but what we can do is we can control what we do. Be nice to somebody. Don't necessarily dog somebody just because their opinion's different. Take time to listen. Come in with an open mind and don't judge each other just automatically. I mean, I dress up in this outfit for 5-6 days a year, and the rest of the time I look at the world and I think, man, I wish I could do this all the way around. And inside I try to. But I wish this was a better place. I wish the world was a better place. And we can't change the world, but what we can do is we can change our little corner of it, our little block. If we all get along, just try to get along and just make the effort to take, your feelings and express them. Tell someone you love them. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show your feelings to somebody, especially if you care about them. Right now I am trying to be involved with somebody whose nickname is Sweetness. I'll give that name out rather than her name. And I'm trying everything I can. I've told her I love her many times, and I always make her smile. And she says she has love for me, so that makes the world a little bit better. But don't be afraid. Even if they don't return that same kind of love, you let it go. And you told them, and have no fear. And one final thing I tell everybody is this. At Bonnaroo, make a concentrated effort to see the most amazing man in the world. That's me. This is my ego talking. Pondo, I'll be wearing the Viking horns and the clock. I do not charge money for a Pondo Army card. Come up to me. I'll give it to you. I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a photo op. I'll give you an autograph. I will not do a strip show. If money's involved and I'm inebriated, I might, but trust me, you don't want that. But make sure you guys look for me. There are some people that have been trying for years. It's like a Where's Waldo thing. I think it's easy to spot me because, I'm huge and I have a Viking horn and clock on, but, make an effort. Come up to see me. I may not know who you are right off the bat, but if you tell me, hey, you know me from this, this, and this, you know me from this and this, you know me from Lockup, you know me from Attica. If you come and tell me all this stuff, trust me, I will remember and I will spend the time to talk to you because this year I've decided I'm going to try to meet as many amazing people at Bonnaroo as I possibly can. So I have had a pleasure co-hosting this. I'm going to turn this back over to the NASA man himself, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, the Colossus of clout. I am going to turn this back over to Daniel Horton because he is much better at this than I am. I'm just basking in his glow. So pass it over to Dan. You got any final things, man?
Well, dude, I got to thank you for helping me with this in Sharla's absence tonight. You have absolutely killed it. I have conspired to get you on for one of these for a long time. Pondo, I think I speak for everyone at Bonnaroo where I say, we love you to death, man. You're like the best avatars of everything that there is to offer from Bonnaroo. You represent the code so well, especially with what you were just talking about. Dude, I got to tell you, next week we're going to announce the winner of our contest where people submit their stories. And people, by the time you listen to this, will probably know who won, but we're going to have the winner on next week. I got to tell you this. When Sharla and I were listening to all those stories in the car, we about were ready to choke up because it took listening to that for it really to sink in how much people have missed this and how much people need this. So, Pondo, while you're talking about that, we've been talking about like all of these like shows that we want to see and great ones that we have seen. They're not the headliners. I know this is kind of a memey thing that InfoRoo likes to joke around about sometimes, but the headliners are the people that are going. Hearing you talk about that just now and hearing all of the entries that we had for our contest really reminded me of that. There's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to party at like Disclosure, for example. But man, Pondo, I can't wait to party with you.
Thank you.
We're going to help you. We're going to get you on top of the bus at the Wednesday night party, man.
And let's do the shameless plug, which of course most people by now know about. As a matter of fact, everybody knows about. Wednesday night, a lot of people say there's not much going on. That is wrong. Because I'm telling you right now, from far and wide, from lands everywhere, Roo Bus is having a party. Now, you may think, well, why should I come to the Roo Bus party? Why would you not want to go to the Roo Bus party? Everybody's going to be there. Top acts. I heard a rumor that Daniel Horton may be getting behind the turntables himself and doing a little bit of music. I'm telling you right now, if you have ever wanted to see an average white guy play some average music. I'm just joking. He does an amazing job. Please, everybody come to the Roo party. They, to toot their own horn for a second, have a shoestring budget. If you knew what these guys have gone through recently to pull this off, they have done everything short of kidnap children to pull this off. And well, there was that little boy Tommy. I'm joking. But seriously, the amazing group, they put on this amazing podcast for you guys. It keeps you connected. It keeps you in the know. They are doing things to keep us going crazy before June. And I was crazy well before. I don't need to be more crazy because then I don't get afternoon playtime and I don't get to play with the Play-Doh. And I'm telling you right now, Pondo without Play-Doh is not good. Do want to thank Bruce and Sarah, Kara, Courtney, and Sergi for coming on tonight. You guys were absolutely amazing and stellar. You made us look amazing. Anytime you can make me look good, that's something, because look at this face. It's hard to do. I don't own a mirror.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Daniel always does an amazing job. So, once again, I'll pass it back over to him.
Thank you, Pondo. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. These are some of my favorites to do because I'm meeting new friends and we're all going to party together Wednesday or another time at Bonnaroo. See you guys in just, actually, we just have 5 weeks to go. And if you are listening to this on Tuesday and you're arriving Tuesday, you have exactly 5 weeks. It's crunch time, y'all. Need to be making some Walmart runs, getting everything ready, make sure that your tent's ready to go. We are in the final weeks. We are almost finally back after almost 3 years. Pondo is reminding us of the time. He's got the clock around his around his neck there. Guys, thank you so much. We'll have our contest winners on next week. And I believe if nothing happens, we will have Flip Turn on next week, our Wednesday night band themselves. So very much looking forward to that. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to having everyone there. I have been warning Bonnaroo and the people I've been working with. It would not shock me to see 1,000 people at the Wednesday night party. So I can't wait to see all of you. We're going to have some surprises and giveaways and things like that. Please make plans to come. We cannot wait to see you. Pondo, you have done an amazing job. Thank you so much, sir. You are one of my favorite Bonnaroovians. If the aliens came down and they wanted one of the best examples, I would submit you to them, I'm afraid.
Aw, well, it was either this or community service. And heck, obviously, what's going on.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, everyone, get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you real soon.
Bonnaroo!